Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, everybody. Today we are going to continue Unit 4 that we started last time. We stopped at page 30. The last thing we did on Wednesday's lecture is to complete the chart about data processing steps. And now we want to do exercise number 3, listening. Listen to an IT expert describing the data processing steps to a colleague. Check your answers to 2. So this is a conversation between an IT expert and his colleague. She is explaining the processes or the steps that we have just done. Listen to the conversation.
Unit 4, Recording 25.
Right, the first step in the process is you gather the raw data which you want to process. That's called collection, okay?
Yes, data collection.
Good. The second step is you create categories to organize the data into relevant groups. We call that sorting. Understood?
Sorting, right.
Then we arrange and systemize the data. That's coding. Got that?
Yes, I think so. The third step is coding.
After that, we enter the data into a system. That's entry.
Okay.
Then we clean the data and double check for faults and inconsistencies. That's the validation part of the process.
Fine. Validation.
Finally, we format and arrange the data so that it can be analyzed. That's tabulation. All right?
Thanks very much.
No problem.
Listen again.
Please, would you give me your password?
Right, the first step in the process is you gather the raw data which you want to process. That's called collection, okay?
Yes, data collection.
Good. The second step is you create categories to organize the data into relevant groups. We call that sorting. Understood?
Sorting, right.
Then we arrange and systemize the data. That's coding. Got that?
Yes, I think so. The third step is coding.
After that, we enter the data into a system. That's entry.
Okay.
Then we clean the data and double check for faults and inconsistencies. That's the validation part of the process.
Fine. Validation.
Finally, we format and arrange the data so that it can be analyzed. That's tabulation. All right?
Thanks very much.
No problem.
I want you also to listen to recording number 4, number 26, exercise 4. Listen and mark syllable stress in these nouns and verbs. Here we have a collection of words that have, more than one syllable. You might ask, what is a syllable? It means مقطع. The number of vowel sounds in, a word. Sometimes you stress part of the word. So you will underline the parts which are stressed in the word, such as entry. You stress the first syllable, that is N. So we'll do the same with the rest of words. Of course, you have to listen also to a recording of these words pronounced. Let me share the file first. So we are basically here, this part. Now you will listen to these words and mark the stressed syllables.
Unit 4, Recording 26. 1. Entry. 2. Collection. 3. Tabulation. 4. Validation. 5. Sorting. 6. Coding. 7. Gather. 8. Create. 9. Arrange. 10. Enter. 11. Double check. 12. Format.
Listen again.
6. Entry. No problem. Unit 4. Recording 26. 1. Entry. 2. Collection. 3. Tabulation. 4. Validation. 5. Sorting. 6. Coding. 7. Gather. 8. Create. 9. Arrange. 10. Enter. 11. Double check. 12. Format.
Now I'll show you the correct answers on the screen. As for the second word, collection, the stress is here in the second part, the second stress. Tabulation, the first syllable and the last syllable. Validation, also the first syllable and the last syllable. Sorting, this syllable. Coding, this syllable. Gather, this one. Create, the here in the middle. Arrange, this one. Enter, this one. Double click, this one and this one. Format, it is the last syllable. Listen once again and repeat the words.
4. Action. 3. Entry. 2. Collection. 3. Tabulation. 4. Validation. 5. Sorting. 6. Coding. 7. Gather. 8. Create. 9. Arrange. 10. Enter. 11. Double check. 12. Format.
All right, we are done with this one. Let us move on to another activity in another page. Here, vocabulary task. Complete these sentences with the words in the box. So in the box here we have the words about, at, between, for, from, in, into, of, to. To is already crossed out. What are these words? What do you call these words in English? They are called preposition. They are somehow equivalent to حروف الجر in Arabic. You know حروف الجر في اللغة العربية. إن وعلى وفي and so on. So same thing. About معناها عن, at, في, between, بين, for, and so on. So here we have an example. The database is used to store our financial information. So here the words to is already chosen to connect this word. Now we want to complete these sentences by selecting the correct preposition from the list. What's the difference, a database and a split? Of course, your selection of the correct preposition depends on your understanding of the sentence. You have to understand the meaning of the sentence in order to be able to select the correct preposition. What's the difference between a database and a spreadsheet? So here, the correct answer is between. Let me type it in here. A database is storing data. Actually, the correct answer is 4. And I told you before, once you select a preposition, you have to cross it out. So we have already selected between and for. Let's see number 3. The school has information. معناها يعني in Arabic عن الطلاب. So which preposition means عن? It is about. So let's just choose about. We are left with these. Can people access the system the same time? So at. It is at. A database is a collection records. It is of. You retrieve information in the database from. Here we'll choose the word from. You enter the data, the system, into. Which software do you use in your work? Here in. So these are the correct answers. You can screenshot the answer. Now let us deal with a language tip. Quick questions to ask to check understanding. We use these. We make sure the other person understands the statement. So sometimes you say something and you want to check whether the other person got the idea or not, or has understood you or not. So what should you say? How to verify or check whether the other person understands what you are saying? So you can say these, use these expressions. Here we have the examples. That's called collection, okay? So you can say, okay, this is one way. Period. They ask the question, then period. Okay, question mark. That's coding. Got that? So you can also say got that. Got it? That's tabulation. All right. We call that sorting. Understood? So what words can you use to check understanding? Okay. Got that? All right. Understood? Let me say them again and try to repeat after me silently. That's called collection. Okay. That's coding. Got that? That's tabulation. All right. We call that sorting. Understood? These expressions are commonly used by teachers when they want to check their students' understanding. So they use them frequently in their classes and unconsciously. So try to learn these expressions and make use of them whenever you ask a question and you want to check the other person's, whether the other person's got the message or not. Let us do now exercise 8. Look at the examples of database software below. What database software do you know? What is used for? So this unit is basically about databases. So far, we have not dealt with examples of databases. Here in this picture, we have, common examples of databases software. So we have EndNote. I don't know whether you are familiar with this one or not, but I'll do it certainly myself because you are now offline. There is also Microsoft Access and Reference Manager. What is EndNote? I don't know whether you have idea about this one or not, but it is generally a software. It is reference management software. So it is used to manage references and bibliographies and these sort of things. Access, as for Microsoft Access, I told you about this program last time, and I told you that it is the most popular one used to create databases. Databases management system. And reference manager, I think the answer is implied in the name itself, reference manager. It is used also to manage references. Let's now proceed to the other task. Now we'll talk specifically about data storage and backup. Storage تخزين. Match the data storage and backup solutions in the box to picture A to F. What other solutions are there? So when you want to do data storage or backup, you use these, storage devices. So here we have pictures and here we have the words. We want to match the words to the pictures. So this first one, what do you think this was? This is, very familiar. You are very familiar with this one and you use it a lot. And nowadays, it has literally replaces all other types of storages. Probably in the past, people used to use CD or DVD or flap disk a long time ago, but these are no longer in use. The most common used device is the flash drive, USB flash drive. So this one should go here. Let me type it in here. This is USB flash drive. So you should know these names very well in English because your specializations are related to IT. So you have to be very familiar with these names in both in English as well as in Arabic. So this one is called USB flash drive. Flash memory also you can say. Across this one. As for this one, it is external hard drive. is similar to the internal internal hard disk because it has huge storage capacity. So if you have a huge data, you can use external that you need to store. You can use external hard disk rather than flash memory. And what is this one? It is hard disk, internal hard disk. As for this one, it is, let's just cross this one. This is called server. It is used to supply internet in a network. خادم in Arabic. This is the internet. And this book is old. Let's say relatively old. I think no one is using Internet Explorer these days. There are other browsers like Google Chrome, Firefox, Bing, and these browsers. They are more modern than this one. But generally, this refers to the Internet. And as for this last one, it is MP3 player. MP3 player. All right. So you can screenshot this also. The following one, it is a reading task. Read this article about data storage. Complete the sentences with the words in the box. Cloud, offsite, contents, protect, security, encrypt, theft, flash, volumes, lost, magnetic. So you have to complete this text with the correct word from the box. It's going to be your homework. This is homework. And I, of course, sent it to you on Blackboard. Let us discuss this previous point very quickly and briefly. Here the question asks, what storage and backup solutions are the most popular? Which solutions do you use most often? يعني ما هي أدوات التخزين اللي تستخدمينها في العادة؟ I told you nowadays, literally everyone is using flash drive. This is the most common storage device used. In the past, they used to use CD-ROM, they used to use DVD, flap disk, but they are no longer in use, rarely used. You can also use external hard disk, and also you can use cloud, storage devices, اللي هو التخزين السحابي. Also, it is highly recommended because you didn't need to carry any tangible. It is saved in the internet. You can access to your data anywhere and from any device, any laptop, any computer. تخزين سحابي like what? Like Google Drive, like for example OneNote, like Dropbox. So these are examples of cloud storage, تخزين سحابي. Here we have two listening questions. Question number 27, listen and repeat these phrases. Now I want you to listen to the recording and to repeat these phrases. Go ahead.
Unit 4, Recording 27. 1. Emerging technology. 2. Cloud computing. 3. Data storage. 4. Hard drive. 5. External drives. 6. Backup providers.
Listen again.
5. 3. 1. Emerging technology. 2. Cloud computing. 3. Data storage. 4. Hard drive. 5. External drives. 6. Backup providers.
Now listen to the dialogue between Tim and an IT expert, Sandy, whose name is Sandy. What storage device to buy? Mark these statements as true or false. So Tim wants to buy a storage device, and he is asking an IT expert whose name is Sandy. Listen now to the conversation and check whether these sentences are true or false, from 1 to 5. Sentence number 1 states that Tim needs the storage device for work. 2. Tim wants to back up music and photos. 3. Sandy recommends an external hard drive. 4. Tim can spend $300 on the storage device. 5. Sandy recommends a storage device with a special feature.
Unit 4, Recording 28.
Sandy, could you give me some advice on storage devices?
Sure. How can I help?
I'm a bit worried about my computer at home.
Right.
I've got lots of music and photos on my computer, and I think I should back them up.
I know what you mean.
What should I buy?
I'd recommend an external hard drive. That's what I've got at home. How much can you spend?
$200.
That should be fine. You should be able to get something good for that. Oh, one thing. I'd really recommend you get one that backs up automatically from your computer when it's connected.
Listen again.
Worried about Sandy, could you give me some advice on storage devices?
Sure. How can I help?
I'm a bit worried about my computer at home.
Right.
I've got lots of music and photos on my computer, and I think I should back them up.
I know what you mean.
What should I buy?
I'd recommend an external hard drive. That's what I've got at home. How much can you spend?
$200.
That should be fine. You should be able to get something good for that. Oh, one thing. I'd really recommend you get one that backs up automatically from your computer when it's connected.
All right. So now let's check whether the answers are true or false. Tim needs the storage device for work. Actually, the answer is false because he needs it to use it at home. Tim wants to back up music and photos. True. Sandy recommends an external hard drive. Correct, true. Tim can spend $200 on the storage device. False, he can spend only $200. Sandy recommends the storage device with a special feature. Yes, true. Now a language tab, asking for and giving advice. So what's the meaning of the word advice? Advice معناها نصيحة. You have just listened to the conversation between Sandy and the IT experts. So this is kind of seeking advice. Sometimes you want to get advice from a person who is more experienced or as an expert, like a teacher, like for example, an IT expert, and so on. So how to ask a question? You use these words, should and would. And should and would, as we learned before, they are always followed by the infinitive. And I also explained to you what's the meaning of infinitive. Infinitive means the first form of the verb. يعني الفعل في المصدر من دون إضافات، من دون ed، من دون ing، من دون. This is the meaning of infinitive. الفعل في المصدر من دون أي إضافات، من دون s، من دون es، ed، ing، and so on. دائما وشود would هذه model verbs، أفعال ناقصة. shall، will، would، should، can، could. These are modal verbs and always followed by the infinitive. Keep this always in mind. So you can use these particular modal verbs, should and would, to ask for advice and to give advice. What is the meaning of should? يجب. The negative of should, shouldn't, as we will see. I, you, they, he, she. So these are what the subject pronouns that I explained to you before. They substitute the subject and come at the beginning of the sentence. Then you have should or shouldn't. Should, shouldn't. الإثبات والنفي. If you want to recommend something, you say should. If you don't want to recommend, shouldn't. Or should not. طبعا should not, this is the abbreviation, the contraction of not. And here we have example questions. What should I do? You should buy a flash drive. You shouldn't get a server. So you can ask for advice saying, what should I do? What should I do? Then the answer, you should or shouldn't. You should buy a flash drive. You shouldn't get a server. For example, what should I do to store my data? You should buy a flash drive. You shouldn't get a server. Here we have another examples with would. استخدام should would واحد لأن كلهن modal verbs as I've told you والاستخدام واحد. I, you, he, she, it, we, they, would or wouldn't. So same thing. Would الإثبات, wouldn't النفي. What would you recommend? What would you recommend? I'd recommend a flash drive. So this is هذا اختصار would. اختصار would only D apostrophe then D. Recommend a flash drive. I wouldn't, would not. This is short form. This is long. This is short form. This is long form. Recommend a server. So for asking advice, you can use either should or would. And in order to ask a question, you can say, what should I do? What would you recommend? And for answer, you should do this or you should not do that. Or I'd recommend, I would not recommend. So skip this one. Deal with this one. Database system benefits. What kind of data do companies create, manipulate, store, and retrieve? So we keep using, this word frequently in our class. Data. But we haven't so far explored types of this data or discussed examples of data. So what do you think? Companies, what type of data they need to manipulate, to store, to retrieve, to create? And if you want to create a databases, so what type of data will you deal with? Here we have examples. Match the company department from 1 to A with the types of data it works with A and H. Here in the first column we have types of companies. Like for example finance. finance معناها شركة مالية. Marketing تسويق. Human resources موارد بشرية. Customer relations علاقات خدمة عملاء أو علاقات العملاء. Production إنتاج. Technical support دعم الفني. Sales مبيعات. Stock management لإدارة مخازن أو مستودعات. And these are the types of data. We want to match them with these companies. So as we look at A, data about employees, training and recruitment needs. يعني معلومات عن الموظفين والتدريب يعني احتياجات التوظيف. So what do you think this one matches with which one of these companies? Of course with human resources. Human resources الموارد البشرية هم اللي يحتاجون معلومات الموظفين وخدمة السيرة الذاتية وما إلى ذلك. Data about production, specification, details and design. Actually, this is related to production. Data about profile, tax, loans, shares and cash. Finance, this is already answered. Data about volume of products sold. This is sales. Data about customer satisfaction survey promotion. This is related to customer relation. Data about product advertisement and competitors. This is marketing. Data about quantity of products in storage. This is stock management. Information about the help desk, support, calls, manuals, problems, and reports. This is technical support. So these are different companies and different type of data they deal with. Number 3, look at the 4 types of data below from Party Planner Ltd. What do you think Party Planner Ltd does? What company departments can you identify? So again, these are actually types of data here. Personal data, what type of person, if you want to talk about personal data like what? Like CVs, السيرة الذاتية, job descriptions, employee personnel data, training, holiday. If it is a customer data, customer contacts, satisfaction surveys, promotions, products data, inventory, purchasing needs, return products. And as for technical support, contact to help desk reports, troubleshooting manuals, and serving reports. Number 4, work in small groups. Talk about the advantages and disadvantages of a computerized database. Present your ideas to the rest of the group. There are many advantages and disadvantages. So, if you want to talk about the advantages and disadvantages of computerized database, you all know, I'm sure that you all know by now, understand that the meaning of database is called what? قاعدة بيانات. So in the past, قاعدة البيانات, this used to be what? Done manually, in traditional way. But nowadays, we have computerized data stored in the computer. What are the benefits, advantages and disadvantages? advantages معناها مميزات أو الإيجابيات. disadvantages معناها السلبيات. يعني فوائد وأضرار أو something like this. What do you think? What are the advantages of computerized databases? We can say, for example, they save time, they are faster, they store a huge amount of data, they are easier to retrieve, easy to manage, to find, they are mobile, because I've told you, you can carry the data from one place to another. And speaking about the disadvantages, among the disadvantages that it requires internet connection. If you don't have internet, you can't actually access to this data. It requires specific equipment that could be expensive or not affordable. And here, these are some of the advantages or disadvantages of computerized databases. Now go to page 35. This task is a reading task. I will leave it to you as homework also. This is homework number 2. Read part of this email from the owner of Jumbo Bookstore. Answer these questions. So this is a text or reading passage, which is basically an email sent by the owner of the Jumbo Bookstore. And answer these questions. Question number 1, what types of information does Jumbo Bookstore communicate between its employees? Number 2, how do the employees exchange information in the company? Number 3, what documents does Amiki prepare? Number 4, how much time does it take to compile the data? And number 5, why do the customers complain? This is the end of the lecture today. I hope that everything is clear and understood. Goodbye and have a good time.